Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For our meetings today, we will talk about the green theory or green political theory in the class of environmental politics in international relations. The code is SHI 542. So our outline is here. The first one is about green politics versus environmentalism. Some of you might confuse because is it the green politics and the environmentalism is an opponent? Is that right? So some of you might confuse because the green is green, environmentalism is also green. So which component with that making them is a different and becoming the opponent for one each other. So we will discuss it more in the next slide. The other things about the outline is the key features of the greens or the green political theory or GPT. We will talk about the ecocentrism versus anthropocentrism. The ecocentrism is something related to the word that the ecocentrism see is centered in the context of to preserve the environment, the ecology. But for the anthropocentrism, the central of the politics, the central of the development, the central of the social system is the human itself. So anything that we do, the goal is for the human, the result is for the human, not for the environment, not for the plants, not for the trees, not for the animals. But the ecocentrism is seeing the world as a very different point of view. The goals of our activities, our economy, our politics, our anything that we do is for the environment. And what is the environment for the ecocentrism? We will discuss it more in the next slide also. For a brief, the ecocentrism looking at the environment as the unity, something that they do not differentiate between whether it is human, whether it's animal, whether it is a trees, plants, and so on and so forth. Anything in this earth or in this universe is the environment that they have to preserve, they have to secure. So ecocentrism can be agreeably said that it is more broader rather than the anthropocentrism. And then the limits to growth, it is about how to prevent the population growth from time to time, and about the decentralizations, about the structure, how to make some power relations in the structures becoming less having a less cap. And then the critics about the green political theory, the objections to decentralizations. So we are going to my first discussion. So this is data that I took from our work in data. You can see in this graphic that from time to time we are having a very big growth of populations. Although the trends of the growth is declining, you can see from the red line, the annual growth rate of the world populations from time to time is declining, but the amount of population or the world population in total from time to time is increasing. So seeing this graphic, what is your assumption or your prediction that what will happen to the earth if our population is still growing and growing? Anyone can give some thought about this? What will happen?
Excuse me, Miss, can I give my opinion? And
Okay,
do you mind if I use bahasa?
of course, never mind. You can use bahasa.
Oke. Menurut saya kan Miss, bahwa dari tahun ke tahun kan populasi manusia itu bertambah dan saya juga dari beberapa artikel yang sedang marak kan isu bukan isu sih fenomena child free di Indonesia kan semakin marak kan Miss. Ada beberapa asumsi bahwa kalau para pasangan yang melakukan child free itu alasannya salah satunya adalah untuk menjaga lingkungan karena mereka beranggapan bahwa manusia itu cenderung untuk menghasilkan karbon. Jadi pastinya akan merusak lingkungan sih seiring dengan pertambahannya populasi manusia dari tahun ke tahun. Sekian, Miss.
Okay, so according to Yola, our population will always create carbon footprint. Carbon footprint is jejak karbon gitu ya. So this is related to the phenomenon, the child-free phenomenon in Indonesia and the other countries. Some of the child-free activists said that this carbon footprint can be reduced by preventing people from giving birth. But we will not debating about this movement. But I agree on the context of everyone in this world are leaving their carbon footprint, which is in this case we know that carbon footprint is something from our activities causing some waste, and this waste is called as the carbon dioxide and the other things that can cause the climate change or the rising temperatures of our Earth, rising the global temperature. Jadi teman-teman, dari setiap aktivitas yang kita lakukan itu menghasilkan namanya carbon footprint gitu atau jejak karbon. Jejak karbon itu dapat dari mana sih? Ya dari aktivitas yang kita lakukan. Kalau misalnya nih kita pergi keluar ke kampus, ke pasar, ke mall gitu naik motor, itu ada energi yang dibakar dari proses pembakaran motor itu menghasilkan karbon dioksida dan seterusnya, itu adalah jejak karbon yang kita miliki gitu. Kalau kita di rumah aja bagaimana? If we are staying in our home, do we still produce the carbon footprint? Of course, we still produce our carbon footprint even if we just staying at home, because we are breathing is producing carbon dioxide. And also the other things, the carbon footprint actually is not talking about our breathing, but our the other activities. For example, from our electricity, from our gas stove, for example. Jadi dari listrik yang kita gunakan, dari kompor yang kita gunakan, gitu, dari api yang kita gunakan, itu pasti menghasilkan yang namanya karbon dioksida, yang itu dinamakan carbon footprint. What about our clothes? Bagaimana dengan baju kita? So our clothes is being made by the fashion industry, and they use a lot of machine. The machine is being heated by the coal, for example, or the electricity from coal. Dari listrik yang dihasilkan dari PLTU batubara gitu misalnya. Sementara PLTU batubara menghasilkan yang namanya carbon footprint berupa limbah asap dan seterusnya. Itu tetap akan terus menjadi sebuah cycle. The thing is, how can we manage this entire cycle to be more controllable and to be safer for every entities in the world, so that it is not being a threat for the environment, for the people, for the human, for the animal, for the plants, for the ecology, and so on and so forth. So now we are going to the next slide. This slide is showing us that it is the iceberg animals, beruang di Kutub Utara, ice bear. She is coming to the Siberia. It is happening for the first time since 1977 to reach Norilsk from the Arctic. She would have had to travel hundreds of miles. Why she have to travel from the Norilsk to the Norilsk from the Arctic? Because her habitats or her ecology to live here is not safe anymore. It cannot provide the food that she needs, the food that she wants, not only but also need. You can see that the ice from the environment that she lives is melting. So it cannot produce a lot of food that she needs. For example, the fish that usually come from the river around here, maybe something like that. The temperature is not lively for her body, so she has to move to another place, and it is coming to the human habitats or human place. And the other things that happening about this situation is on the other area in Indonesia, for example, we are facing the deforestation. In this case, I would like to show you some of the problems that we face in our everyday lives, and it is happening in our society. The thing is, how would we not escape actually, resolve this kind of problem? Escape is not something that resolvable. We have to resolve it is this kind of problem for the long-term solution. And then we have some other facts, which is in the Solomon Island and Nuatambu Islands. There are 5 Pacific islands had disappeared due to the rising seas and erosions. And the Nuatambu Island, home to 25 families, which has lost 11 houses and half its inhabitable area since 2011. So what I would like to show you is a lot of islands in this world is disappearing due to the rising seas and erosions. What about Indonesia? I believe, not only believe, it is a fact that a lot of island Indonesia is also disappeared. You can Google it in the Google or in anything. You can read in the news that lots of island Indonesia also disappeared. And it is predicted the Jakarta city will be also sinking in 2050 if we don't have any mitigation for the climate crisis. So it is a kind of very serious problems. So I will continue to the next slide. So the next slide is the slide that is showing in the United States. In the same times, there is a drought, and the other place there is a very a huge amount of water that we call as a flood. So in the same time, there is a very contradictory conditions. It is from time to time, it is actually becoming more often rather than the previous decades, because the impact of the climate crisis. And the other things is about the problems of pollution that becoming serious because a lot of animals became the victims of this our activities, whether it is an economic activities, whether it is a refreshing activities, whether it is anything. They are so innocent, but they are becoming the real one who suffering. I'm not talking that only animal has suffered, but also so many people. But in this case, this animal is innocent and they cannot escape from this problems. It is different from us that we can flee to the other island, for example. We can escape from this net, for example, but this turtle is cannot doing anything because they don't know what to do. They just being trapped in this, and it is difficult for them to get their food, catching their prey, and so on and so forth. So I would like to ask from every one of you in this class, according to you, which one should be the priority, the economy or the environment? Okay. Anyone can raise your hand or open up your microphone, please, to give some insight about this. Still waiting, okay? What about Fatih Rafsal?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, what do you
Okay,
think about this?
okay, Miss. In my opinion, I think it has to be a balance because economy goes on and environmental uh, uh, goes on to miss. I think it's to be balance economy and environmental.
Okay, so I think it is difficult for you to choose just one, but you are trying to look at the middle solution to make it more balanced between these two, right? Okay, thank you, Fatih, for your argument. The other one, anyone who had their opinion about this?
Miss, I also agree with Fatih said before that we have to choose something in the balance that the economy should grow, but the environment should be protected too.
Okay, thank you, Yula, for your opinion. Nice. I think that's really important to protect the environment and also to boost the economy. Someone is typing in the chat. RD Richard Umbo said the environment. Okay, thank you, RD, for your opinion. If you would like to open up your microphone, we are also opening to the argument. Okay, Indah Kusuma, can you please to open up your microphone?
Yeah, I think uh, environment should be the priority because most of the time, in order to boost the economy growth, it has to risk the environment. It has exploited the environment and it has a negative impact on the environment. Therefore, because of that, just for the sake of economy growth, it has declined our quality of life because of the negative impact on our environment.
Okay, thank you, Indah. So we have more friends who thinks that environment is should be the priorities. What about Anissa Putri?
Okay, Miss, thank you for the opportunity. In my opinion, is similar with Indah, but I think both is important. But the most priority, in my opinion, is environment because if the environment is good, it will create many advantage in the economic sector, as it can be become a place that many local people or tourists can visit to improve the economic. And however, if the environment is not good, the economy will also not support the country, Miss. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anissa, for your opinion. That's really nice. We are going to Tommy Prayodis.
Okay, Miss. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity. According to my opinion, I think it's better of environment. Why? Because environment is essential to be improved, to be covered, because this thing is really important also for economy. Without good environment, it would be bad economy. Environment is useful also for escalating the economy. And I also agree with Icha previous opinion. With a good environment, it's really hard. I mean, to improve economy. But if the bad economy still could be improved, environment is really important, I think, than economy. I think that's it, Miss.
Okay, thank you, Tommy. You are getting more and more friends who thinks that environment is should be the first priority rather than the economy. And also, Angelica said that for me, it is the environment. After all, the material we use to make a product it is from the environment. Okay, more friends who wants to talk is Yulianisa. I think it is the last one for this question. We will have two more questions after this. Okay, Yulianisa, can you please open up your microphone?
Yes, thank you, Miss, for the opportunity. In my opinion, the economy is the main priority to improve the surrounding environment for a better life. Because basically, humans still need it to their life. But at the end, we should have the balance between economy and environment. I feel I kind of like agree with Fatih. Thank you, Miss.
You're most welcome, Yulianisa. Thank you, my friends, for raising your opinion. So I am asking this question to look at whether you will taking your side as an environmentalist or you will taking your side as the green politicalist. So we will look at the characteristic of every perspective here. So please remind what is your answer for this every question. We'll look at the result later, whether you will be having a side in the green political theory or the environmentalists. Okay, and the next question is the structure and the regulations that we have are the solution to the environmental crisis. Do you agree about this? Do you agree if structure and regulation is the solution to the environmental crisis? It's getting more interesting. Anyone who wants to raise their opinion and agreement about this, please raise your hand or open your microphone, please. Okay, if you don't have any clue about this question, is structure is related to the system that we have. For example, the nation state system, the government, the international organization, and also the international regime, and also the regional organization can meet can be said as the system that or the structure that we have. So do you think that this kind of regulations is the solution for the environmental crisis? Anyone? Or do you think S2 Jayanti?
I think yes, ma'am.
Yes. Why you think it is yes? Hello, S2. Are you still there? Hello? Yeah. Why do you think that it is the solution of environmental crisis?
Because I think structure and regulation ini is it's the simple solution that I think it will be good solution for environmental crisis.
Okay, thank you, Esther, for raising your opinion. I think to elaborate the Esther's answer is the structure and regulations that we currently have now is the solution, because we are having this structure or these regulations to solve every problems in our lives, and we have to implement it as it is currently that we have now. So we are looking for the solution that we have now and also the past that we have. So I think that's a kind of elaboration that I can tell you about the Astor's opinion. Any other opinion about this? What about Dinal Bayhaki? Hello, Dinal.
Yes, Miss, pardon. I couldn't
Okay.
hear because of the connection.
Okay. Do you agree that structure and regulations are the solution to the environmental crisis?
Yes, Miss, I do agree because without structure and regulation, people will just harm the environment, and eventually the environment will be vanished, and there will be human extinction.
Okay, thank you for raising your opinion. I think it is becoming more interesting because Baifaki said that without this regulation, human can do anything that they want, and we cannot do more coordinations and something like that, and it will be a chaos to the world, to the environment, so that the regulation and the structure is something that really important in this case. Okay, we are going to the last question is about the environmental crisis is global issues or global problems. So therefore, the solutions must come from the global actors. Do you agree with this statement or no? Anyone? Okay, what about Sophia and Anastasia? Sophia?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, do you agree about this question? A statement, sorry.
Yes, agree.
Agree? Why do you agree? Hello, Sophia?
I don't know. Just agree.
Okay. Thank you, Sophia. Next time, if you are being asked whether you agree or not, please prepare for the reason, okay?
Okay, Miss.
Okay. We are going to Indah Kusuma.
I don't think it's entirely the solution. Like, I don't think it must come from global actors because, yes, even though it's a global issue, I think that within a country there should be an actor because they need to know what is happening and the environment condition in that country. So the people in that country can relate to can relate to it.
Okay, thank you for raising the opinion, Indah Kusuma. So you have same opinion as Angelica. She thinks that the solution can come from everyone, not just global actors, because everyone needs the environment. Okay, that's a nice argument, I think. We are going to Fatih for his opinion. Okay, Fatih, go on, please.
Yes, Miss. I agree for the global actor solution for the environmental crisis because global actors has minded example panel surya and green building to uh, solution environmental crisis in global issue. Miss, it's from me, the answer for me.
Okay, if I may articulate your argument is the global actors is having more power to implement the solution, for example, making real the renewable energy for every aspect in or every actors in the world. Okay, that's also logic, Fatih, thank you. We are going to Rema, I think.
Thank you, Miss. I think like Fatih said, the global actors have influence to the citizens, and the environment issue like green politics in Eropa,
Okay.
like sorry.
Okay, it's okay, go on. No problem.
Like in Europe, they are give some the regulation like in problems palm oils in Indonesia and Malaysia, and make it in citizen in Malaysia and Indonesia like critics and critical thinking about environment issue is more being stronger like that. Thank you.
Okay, you're most welcome, Rema. I think if I may articulate your argument is about besides they are powerful, they are also influential. They have a power to influence many more citizens, many more people around the world. And some of your friends said that Richard Umbo disagree because except the global actors, we should participate too as individuals. And Rayhan Sanyata said that he is not really agree with the statement because global issues or problems not always from the global actors, and the problems about environment is our right to care about it. So is there anything you want to add, Rema? No? Okay. I think one more friends want to talk before Yurlianisa or somebody. Okay, Yurlianisa.
Okay, Miss, thank you. I agree with the global actors to sounding the global issues, environmental problems, because these actors can be an influence to the followers to make the followers realize that the environmental is important to kelangsungan hidup their future children or grandchildren. So, but besides that, the civil people should have should realize it that this is not only tugas for global actors. Yes, kind of like that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Yurlianisa, for your opinion. Rema, you want to add some thing? Okay, I don't think so. So thank you, my friends, for raising a lot of opinion about these topics. I am so happy you have a very different point of view from friends to the other friends, but every opinion is logic and structured, as long as you are having some reasoning about why you are stating yes or no, why you are agree or disagree, it is okay. There is nothing wrong in this class because you are learning together here, and I am becoming your learning partner and your facilitator. I am so sorry because our time is up, but I would like to give some. I hope it can give a brief explanation about this topic because some of you may have any other class after this. So the green political theory is something that growing from the Cold War until now, and it is becoming the participation era, survival era, and emancipation. Participation is related to who can participate in the solving the environmental problem, and they said it is the task of the state, or the solution can come from states. But from the next era, the survival era, they are seeing that there is a baby boomer, which is there is a lot of bird in the world that growing a lot of population is in the world, and they said that we have to survive from this population's explosion. So we have to limit the growth of populations. And the last era is about the emancipation. We are not only talking about the solution who can participate in this environmental problem, which is in this case is states. They try to emancipate, and they said that everyone can participate to give a solution about the environmental problems. And it becomes the emancipation about the authority and autonomy of every actors to contribute in the environmental issues. And then we are going to the environmentalism and green politics. So please be aware about this. The green politics and environmental politics is a very difference. They are both agree in ecocentrism, which is in this case, they believe that ecology or the environment is the most important things that we have to preserve, we have to protect, so that people, human, animal, plants can live together in balance. But they disagree in some things. Some of the things that they disagree is about the structures. The environmentalism does not believe the other solution rather than the structures. The structures can solve environmental problems. It is compatible with a liberal institutionalist position of key hand. But the green political theory opposing the structures as the main origin of the environmental crisis, they are being skeptical about the nation state and other structures of world politics to respond to environmental crisis. Why? For example, we are looking at the omnibus law, that in this law, we are having more loose regulations in making some project without using some environmental assessment. So in this case, they believe that this kind of regulations, this kind of structures can be a source of threat to the environment. So the green political theory focusing on the need for global scale political transformation. They think that this kind of rules should be transformed into more emancipate rules, more decentralized rules, more decentralized power. But the environmentalism believe that focusing on the emergence of international environmental regions and sustainable development can be a problem solution of the environmental issues. So if environmentalism saying that Paris Agreement is the solution to prevent the rising temperatures, global temperatures, the green political theory is critiques giving a lot of critics about the Paris Agreement. Is the Paris Agreement effective to regulate the behavior of industrialist states to stop their carbon dioxide to going away in the global atmosphere? If this Paris Agreement can be worked in the developing country and both in the developed country, can we give a same treatment from the developed and developing countries? Will it be effective if we have different modalities, if we have different capacities, if we have different capabilities? So the green political theory can be considered as the critical theory. The ecocentrism versus the anthropocentrism. So basically, this ecocentrism is the broad emancipatory project, which is we are not looking at the environment as a separable entities. We are in the unity, human, plants, the earth, the ground, the weather, the plants, the air, the water is one of the unity in the universe. So we have to preserve all of these entities, not only the human. And we have an autonomy to participate. We are talking about the green political theory. The autonomy is not about the people, but also about the people and also the other entities, for example, the animal. They have to be fulfilled their wealth, for example, they have to be protected and so on and so forth. I think you can read more in the reading materials, and the limit to growth is one of the solution for their development. They said that everything coming from the limits to growth, which is every problem in the world is because the limits to growth is not being implemented well. Every problem in this world is associated with growth or population growth. So they think that this growth should be taken care by using the technological solutions. Why this population growth is important? Because they believe that the growth of populations is the exponential growth, or in bahasa you said that pertumbuhan populasi itu seperti bilangan berpangkat gitu, dari 2 menjadi bilangan 4 gitu misalnya. Jadi kelipatannya gitu teman-teman, kelipatan berpangkat seperti 2, 4, 16 dan seterusnya. Kalau but in the stock of our food, our food capacity or our resources is growing not by this exponential growth, but by something that we are added as in bahasa deret aritmatika, angkanya itu 2, 4, 8 gitu. Di angka ketiga itu kan 8 kalau deret aritmatika. Tapi kalau di exponential growth, di angka ketiga itu angkanya sudah 16 gitu. Populasinya 16 tapi resourcesnya masih 8. That's what Thomas Robert Malthus said, that the exponential growth of the populations is not balanced with our resources. So we can running out of resources. So we have to massively improve our technological solutions that can resolve our problems. And they reject the state systems because they think that think globally, act locally is the most solution of them. So they believe that we are living in the same boat, in the same planet, in the same environment, so that we have to be respectful of everything that we do, of everything that they have, of everything that we have. And in this case, we have to do the decentralizations rather than the centralizations of powers, and promoting the grassroots democracy, as we believe that every civil society or indigenous people or masyarakat adat, in this case, having their own authority to regulate themselves rather than to only shifting the regulations from the government or the authority, because not every authority understand what is the indigenous society culture, usually taking care of the nature and the environment. And next is the objection of the green argument for decentralizations. The Greens undermines the global relevance because in this case they believe that the decentralization is important, and maybe they reject the nation state system. It can be questioned that rather than if what can we do if we want to make a transnational cooperations if we don't have any nation state? It is kind of tricky in this case, and the prisoner dilemma and the role of centralized agencies in this case. If we want to preserve the environment, will everyone another us will do the same? That's the prisoner dilemma in the context of Greens. And the Greens in global politics, I think that's quite interesting to read that. In this case, they also actually agree about the environmental multilateralism, but they are opening up to the more comprehensive and also the alternative about the structure. We are going not only in the context of international organization and international regime if we are facing the international or global problems, but also what about the indigenous society that maybe they have a solution about this, that but they cannot be heard in the UN forum, for example, because they are not the delegation of the states, the nation states. We have to open up to the more a reliable solution and also valid solution about this. And the last one is the things that I always said to my friends in the class is about the quotation from Alanis Obomsawin: when the last tree is cut, the last fish is caught, and the last river is polluted. When to breathe the air is sickening, you will realize too late that wealth is not bank accounts and that you cannot eat money. So that's all from me, guys. If you do have any question, you can ask me directly or giving some comments. And anything wrong, I will do apologize. I think that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.